Cubing Fedora just broke the 3x3 world record average with an average of 2.51 seconds. That is so fast. It literally just destroyed Max Park and Timon Kolasinsky by over 2 seconds. A ginormous drop in world recordage. World recordage, is that a word? I'll be reconstructing all the 5 solves and give you insight on his ideas and the absolutely genius things he did in this average. And I think if Max and Timon are going to catch up to him, they're going to have to start using these ideas. For the first solve, Jeremy does green cross. If you look at the scramble, it really isn't that special. Just kidding, no. You have a 1-move block. What he did here was he faced this way. And noting this block, this 1-move block, he also notes this. This is a 3-move pseudo block. And Jeremy somehow sees that in inspection. So the idea is to create this pseudo block, then solve this. Now, because this is already made an X-cross, when we align it, we want an edge here. So that edge is over here. And I want you to pause for a moment and guess how he puts in this edge and inserts this corner here to create a triple X-cross. Okay, so if you've had time to look at that, this is actually sort of like a triple pseudo pair. I don't know how he sees that. This is just ridiculous, but he does U prime, and now by inserting it like this, aligning, you've done this while inserting this. But he doesn't insert it like that. He inserts it like this. And what that does is it orients this edge. See, because if you just did this, it would not be oriented. So by doing this, you've oriented this edge to be inserted right here. So when you do D, look at that. Triple X cross. But he doesn't stop there. He somehow sees like this. Look at this. You only have corners left. Okay? You only have to solve the corners. So what you can do that with is with commutators. So basically, he does a commutator with these two. And that solves it. And now this is a ZBLL. And because of this block we've preserved, Jeremy notices that we could actually cancel into ZBLL using this algorithm. So all in all, you do this commutator and cancel into that ZBLL, and all of a sudden, the cube is solved. Flawless. For this next solve, Jeremy does white cross. Cubing Fedora does white cross. This really isn't a special scramble. It looks rather average, but if you inspect it a bit more, you'll notice something absolutely stunning. I hope you looked at that. His idea is you have this 1-move pair, but you also have this 1-move block. How can you preserve this 1-move block and create a 1-move pair? What he does here is after U, he solves the blue cross edge with R prime, D prime, R, which happens to create this pair. And this pair, you take advantage of this 1-move block, and with this line that was created from R prime, D prime, R, you can now insert this block and create this. And you've preserved both of these pairs. For this last cross edge, he does R, B2, R prime. Now you might have noticed that when you do that, you can insert this pair, but that's not what Cubing Fedora does. He does U. And now by inserting it with U2, he has created this pair. So while mere mortals would have done this, Cubing Fedora does not do that. Cubing Fedora did RU2, R2, and then canceled into this OLL, which as you can see, when you do this OLL, it already takes this pair out, so just canceled into that. How do you see that? For this third solve, Cubing Fedora does orange cross, which you can see already has 2 edges solved, this 1-move pair along with this cross edge, and this one. So you can already tell this is a very, very lucky scramble. When you're at this level, you need to be able to take advantage of this in a very good way. If you just do something like this and go on, it might just be only a normal solve. Here, he takes a beautiful scramble and makes it into a gorgeous work of art. He first pairs this up. R, U2. Now, most people would just go F prime here and continue with maybe this pair, this pair. No. Cubing Fedora does R prime before doing F prime, because then you'll have this free pair, and then you can just insert this. Alright, now guess what Cubing Fedora does next. Okay, so what he does next is a very puzzling sequence of moves that goes like this. And suddenly the cube is solved. Alright, so this is a very brilliant idea here. If you would like to take a moment, I want you to find how Cubing Fedora came up with this sequence of moves. So if you've had time to look at that, the idea was never to solve the orange edge right away. The idea was to insert this corner here and then go back down to create this like sort of pseudo layer, pseudo pair. And guess what? This is actually a pseudo pair because you're now going to insert it like this. Now why would you insert it like this? Well, see, you have this and you have this, but Cubing Fedora saw this bar. And by doing this, he preserves the bar, and not only that, he solves a pseudo layer, corner, pseudo pair thingy. And by solving it like this, guess what? You can now cancel into a commutator. These three edges make up this Olo, see? There's a resemblance there. As you can see, this goes here. All the corners are solved. So this is basically just this Olo. And now you undo this pseudo layer, undo this pseudo layer. How do you even see that? For this fourth solve, Jeremy switches back to the GAN 356 Air M because he said that the GAN 13 was getting to be too fast and uncontrollable for him to use. By switching back to this, he actually created some risks for himself because when you're using a cube in an average, you're going to be used to that cube. But if you switch in the middle of the average, then you're going to probably create, as I already said, risks because you're already used to one and you're not going to be used to the one that you just switched to. He does a white triple X cross, making use of this pseudo pair, this, I've honestly lost track, and this. You know what, I'll just show you the solution as I go along. He first starts off by inserting green, and then goes into inserting this corner in the back, and this pseudo pair is preserved. So now here, mere mortals would just go F prime, R prime, and form a double X cross, but no, Cubing Fedora does R, F prime, R prime, because see, this in inspection, this is very hard to see, but Cubing Fedora somehow sees it, and now inserting the pseudo pair, canceling into inserting this, and now wide U in order to solve this into the back, and you get an OLL skip and a very nice U-perm. And he locks up 3 times during the U-perm. So I think this solve could have been really fast. Maybe this average could have even been faster if he had not locked up during that U-perm. But it's just the risk of switching from one cube to another during an average that I think he locked up during this solve. So that was unfortunate. For this last solve, Cubing Fedora clutched the 2.51 world record average by getting a world record single of 1.89 seconds. Wow. So taking a look at this scramble, I want you to try and guess what Jeremy did. Now keep in mind, there was a lot of pressure going into this solve. You've messed up a solve while switching to another cube, and now you're committed to keep on using that cube, because if you switch back, you've created even more risks. You have to keep using the cube that you've already used. So here, believe it or not, Cubing Fedora did a quadruple X cross. If you're gonna do a quadruple X cross, come on, it's gotta be orange, right? And this, look at this cross. You have 2 already. You have the, no. Cubing Fedora does green cross. So, pause and try to find what cubing Fedora did. Okay, he first starts off with R, B, F prime, R prime. What does that do? Notice how you have this like one move, I want to say pseudo block, but it just inserts this edge and creates this pair. And notice these two. They make this nice connection. So here, by doing R, F, B prime, R prime, you've created this while solving this. But not only that, you have these two, which if you notice, this corner goes with this edge, and this will connect with this F12 pair. So by doing this, you can now take both of these and insert them, creating this block, and moving over the pair to connect with this cross edge. What sort of sorcery is this? And then he doesn't even do R prime yet, he does U prime, then R prime, because that pairs up. And when you insert that, what in the world? That is so lucky. You insert this block to tie a nice ribbon around it, around the whole world record, along with the world record single. Cancels into a back soon, which by the way, this is what he canceled into. This is basically a soon, but from the back. This is what Yu Shengdu had in his 3.47 world record single. I have no idea how cubing Fedora sees all these brilliant things in his solves in inspection, but I think Timon and Max do have to learn these kind of things as well, because if they're going to catch up to 2.51 seconds, they're going to have to be very efficient while turning very fast, and Jeremy does a good job of turning fast in this average. Like, look at me. Poor old me, I can't even turn that fast. Look at me, I'm so slow. I'm just slow at cubing. Like, yeah, I can't turn as fast as him. Thanks for watching, bye.